Yes, while the internet can be a really good place sometimes and just a really positive place, it can also be a place with a lot of divide. People can yell at each other about their opinions being wrong, and how the earth is apparently flat, and how Elvis apparently lived out a nice long life on a beach somewhere. But in this video, I really wanted to read through sections of an article that I completely disagree with, because according to one Buzzfeed news reporter, the era of influencers being apolitical online is over, and everyone must be political from now on, or else they risk becoming irrelevant. Now, I'm not going to read through the whole entire article because it is very long, but there were specific parts in it that I wanted to focus on and highlight that I thought were interesting. Let's just put it that way. So apparently, given everything that has happened this year in our country, and given that this election is one of the most important of our lifetime, I feel that being silent is no longer an option. After the death of the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, countless women flooded social media with tribute posts, photos, and memories of the feminist. For one corner of the internet, though, the moment became a reckoning. Women in a Facebook group for fans of a blogger and influencer who goes by the Skinny Confidential hoped to chat with other women about the death of an icon. Instead, former members of the once 56,000 person strong group claim posts about RBG were deleted after some women complained. The woman abruptly shut down the Facebook group. Shortly after, she posted to her 1 million followers on Instagram that she wanted to keep her group free of politics and religion in order to try and keep a positive space. I understand where she's coming from, this woman, because politics can really divide people. It's an unfortunate thing. Some people just can't accept that others have different opinions than them, and it really just causes a lot of problems, especially on something like social media, where you can anonymously yell about your thoughts all you want and tell people they're wrong, and it can cause a lot of chaos very quickly. Now, the article does go on to read that people were pretty damn pissed at this woman for removing this group. Everyone was having nice civil conversations, even if they were inevitably about politics, so they decided after the group was removed and deleted to found their own new unaffiliated groups, and her attempt to keep her Facebook page free of anything she deemed controversial may have once seemed admirable, a normal response from a lifestyle blogger looking to keep things light. But this year, with the politics, social justice issues, and current events, are just too intense to ignore, apparently. Now that we're finally through the dull, boring example that this writer wanted to give to us, we can finally get to the meat and bones of what I really wanted to talk about and what I really disagree with. So what her case shows is clear. The era of influencers being apolitical online is over. Influencers who continue to post their usual content without acknowledging the realities of this country face the risk of appearing so laughably out of touch that it renders anything else that they have to say irrelevant. As we get closer and closer to November 3rd, an influencer who remains silent about one of the most consequential U.S. elections in history may risk alienating and angering their followers in such a deep way that it could be impossible to recover from. Now, first of all, this person's telling influencers who aren't experts in topics she finds important to give their opinions on these topics and feed their audiences possibly half-truths. Those influencers have die-hard fans, so some of those fans live and die by what these people say. It's like actors and actresses giving speeches on things like COVID and world issues that they have absolutely no idea about. They're just people who are looking for clout and reading scripts and doing what they're told. It's unfortunate, but we see it happen so often. A lot of the actors that come out and talk about social justice and sticking up for the little guys don't actually care about social justice and the little guys. They're literally just looking for clout. The irony here is that she's telling us By not giving your opinions, that may render you irrelevant as an influencer when the opposite is true. By giving your opinion as an influencer on topics you have no clue about, those opinions may be the things that cause you to be irrelevant. There's a reason why people don't know, who Keanu Reeves is voting for. I 100% disagree with this statement that the era of influencers being apolitical online is over. I'm a fan of Dr. Disrespect, let's say, and I don't watch him for his takes on the latest political debate. I watch him because he's talented at video games. That's literally it. I don't always want to watch people and have them feed me their opinions and have them feed me what they think about the latest political issues. I don't need to know his opinions, and there's a lot of creators online who I and a lot of other people watch because we don't care about their opinions on things like social justice issues and world hunger and the latest President of the United States drama. We just want to be entertained. Sometimes people just want to broadcast games or show their book collections or do their makeup on camera because it's entertaining. I just feel like this writer really misses the mark because she doesn't realize that so many people just want to entertain others. They want to talk about their favorite hobbies, their favorite games, their favorite ways to entertain themselves outside of content creation and outside of work. Why doesn't this writer realize that some people literally just want to talk about their favorite things online and they don't want to indoctrinate their own audiences? It's baffling to me. Anyway, continuing on the article though, many influencers have embraced the new normal and have been able to mix their own political beliefs, discussions of human rights issues like Black Lives Matter, coronavirus safety, and more with their usual content. This goes for both sides of the political spectrum. Influencers who lean right-wing have found new audiences in recent months by leaning hard into MAGA, and also sex trafficking awareness, which is usually a veiled reference to QAnon, a mass delusion that believes President Donald Trump is breaking up huge Democratic-run child abuse rings. The only thing that isn't working is silence. She's equating talking about issues in the world like human rights with political agendas. But human rights are not a political issue. Human rights and politics are very separate issues, but unfortunately we live in a world where organizations and movements that are supposed to be protecting human rights have gone political and have created their own agendas beyond pushing human rights, so maybe that's where she gets her incorrect argument from. So apparently this dilemma is one that many influencers are facing. Even if they want to stay silent on the election and discussions about politics, they feel a moral obligation to speak out about big issues of our time, mainly the Black Lives Matter movement and COVID-19. After George Floyd was killed by police in late May and the Blackout Tuesday movement happened on Instagram, many Black influencers told me they could no longer be silent on the ways the platform was failing Black creatives. They called on both Black and white influencers to demand change in the industry. Many white influencers answered the call, feeling they needed to speak up and be on the right side of history. They felt compelled to pick a side in our increasingly polarized country. Why do people think that making a post on social media is going to get them on a side of history? You're literally making a post. This doesn't put you on any side of history. And people are way too brainwashed with the idea that they can become someone important for putting their opinions, popular or not, on things like Twitter and Instagram. This is so stupid in my opinion. You really think that you're going to be on a side of history because you made a single post on social media? Anyway, I've scrolled down quite a bit because there was a lot of nonsense between the last section and this section, but for those influencers who would rather stay silent and avoid alienating people on either side of the political spectrum, the choice may soon be made for them. Followers are starting to notice which influencers are staying silent, and for many audiences, this is a breaking point. There's a lot of people out there who don't care what their favorite creators' opinions are on politics. I don't listen listen to Linus Tech Tips for voting advice. I listen to him for technical advice. Frankly, I could care less about who Linus wants to vote for, even if he was American. Influencers shouldn't feel like they have to make political statements on their platforms. They should feel like they can if they want to, and they don't have to if they don't want to. To get a sense of how people on Instagram feel, I conducted an extremely unscientific poll on my stories. Around 5,000 people responded, and the result was made clear that people notice when an influencer ignores the multiple elephants in the 2020 room. Of those surveyed, 81% said that they have noticed when an influencer has ignored politics, the election, Black Lives Matter, or COVID-19, and 58% said that they unfollowed someone because of this omission. She says that she conducted a very unscientific poll on her stories. Most of the people who participated in the poll probably were her followers and people who will agree with her stance on these issues, so it's a pretty biased, pretty useless poll in my opinion. And the last section of this article that I wanted to read says, for many, it all comes down to what exactly the role of an influencer is in our society. Yes, we all love the style recommendations and recipes, but influencers also have influence. And with this power comes a responsibility. In my opinion, most influencers shouldn't be using their platforms they have to push opinions outside of their sphere of expertise because their diehard fans will hang on every word they say, so it becomes a form of indoctrination. Remember what Ricky Gervais said at the Golden Globes to Hollywood? Yeah, I think that influencers and this article's writer should go and listen to that. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like and share it. And of course, if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.